Hello and welcome to an HTML introduction. So we're going to get right into it, but the first thing I want to talk about is understanding the context of how HTML is used, okay? So if you think of a news article, it has a title, a subtitle, maybe an author and a date, and then it has a bunch of text describing what the article is about. So now if you were to open up a web page, then it's kind of the same deal. If you went to a news site, they have a title, they have a subtitle, author, and a date, and then there's the whole text describing what the article is about, and then there might be some comments underneath of that. So that's the structure, and so that's what HTML does. It presents the structure of the web page. Okay. So what does the HTML acronym even mean? All right. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext is what allows you to click on a link within a web page and it redirects you somewhere else. Markup language is what allows us to describe text. So typically you use tags, and those tags will surround some text, and then that's how we want to describe uh, that text to the browser. So it'll display it a certain way. Okay, and those tags are what we call the markup. Okay, so here we have an example of a simple HTML page. All anything in blue is a tag, and what I have in green is also a tag. But that's like default for every HTML page. It needs one of those. But and anything in white is just a text, just simple text. And as you notice, the tags are surrounding the text, and they're there so that the browser knows how we want to display that text on the screen. So let's take a look at the title. The title, as you can see here, actually there's two tags. So the one on the left with the left caret and right caret, this is called an opening tag. You always need an opening tag, okay? And then the white text in the middle, demo web page, is what we want displayed. And then in order to in order for the browser to know we only want this text to be the title, you have to have a closing tag. And that's what is displayed on the right with a backslash. All right, so we're going to get right into it, and we're going to start coding our first HTML page. Okay, so just before we make one thing kind of clear, HTML is not a programming language, it's a markup language, it's in the name. Typically, a programming language, you can invoke some logic with your code, and we can't do that with HTML. It's only there, again, to structure the web page. It's very important, but that's why we're using HTML, is just to structure how we want everything to be displayed on the web page. Okay, so let's get started. And you don't need any special text editor, no IDE. If you don't even know what an IDE is, doesn't matter because we're not going to be using one. So all we need to do is right click somewhere on your Windows desktop screen, or if you have a Mac, whatever. All we're doing is opening up a simple text document. Okay, so we'll just create a text document. We're going to just call it demo. Okay, so go ahead and open it. And so we're going to be encoding, all right? Um, so the first thing we need is the doc type tag. This needs to be at the top of every HTML file, just so that the browser knows, so that every browser knows that this is an HTML page, okay? So the next thing we need is the HTML opening tag. And the next, what we're going to use is the header tag, or head tag. And anything enclosed, anything with an opening and closing tag of the head is not actually displayed on the browser. This is for metadata, which we'll get to in another video. So it's not super important, but the more important thing we're going to be doing in here is using setting the title. Okay, so go ahead and go to the next line. Create your title tag. That we're going to call this demo web page. Okay, and then After this, that's all we want. We only want to call it demo web page, so we need to enclose, or we need to end that with a closing title tag. So we have the opening and the closing title tag, and inside there, the browser is going to know that we want to call this the demo web page, and we'll see what that looks like when we're done. Okay, so we're actually done with anything involved with the head tag, so we can go ahead and close that as well. All right. And if it's easier, you can you can indent some. It doesn't matter. It actually looks kind of ugly. Let's just do 2 spaces. Okay. Okay, so now this is what we're going to see, okay? So you can go over 2 spaces and the body tag. This is important because everything displayed within the body tag is what you're going to see on the screen in the browser, okay? So have an opening body tag, and then we're going to have what's called a heading 1, or just H1 for short, okay? This gives you a default text size. We'll get to what these really mean in another video. We're just here to code and show off our first HTML page, all right? So we just say welcome to our first HTML demo web page. Okay, and then we need to close it off and come over 4 spaces again. We're gonna write use a p tag or paragraph. P is short for paragraph, and in here we're just gonna say this is an example paragraph statement. Okay, so again, we have an opening tag, and then we have the closing tag. All right, so now we're done with everything we want actually displayed on the screen. Okay, this is very simple. So we need to close off the body tag, and then finally we have one more tag that we need to close, and that's the HTML tag. Okay, so you can go ahead and save this. So just file, save. And right now this is still a text file. So if we go to save as, let's see, just say demo.html. Okay. And as you can see in the top left corner, a new file appeared on my desktop. All right. So by default, I use Chrome. So that's why it's the Chrome symbol. So now if we open this, okay, it worked. All right. This is what you should see. If not, just kind of go back and follow along again, just to make sure that you have your opening and closing tags correctly. So that's probably the only thing that would be incorrect at this point. So if you remember everything that we had in the title tag, demo web page, that showed up here in the browser tab. Okay, that's where the title is going to be. Welcome to our first HTML demo web page. That was in the H1 tag, and that's it gives you it bolds it and gives you a certain text size. And then when we say this is an example paragraph statement, that was what was within our p tag paragraph, and we'll go over those tags and what they do in other videos. But we did it. We created our first HTML page. It's not too bad if you never coded before. This is a good start. And from here on out, I'll go more in depth about other tags and their usefulness when creating a web page. Okay. So I hope you guys will be able to follow along, and I'll see you next time.